this shot not look correct?
That's fine.
Like this?
You're thinking it. Put one last third. Yeah, that's good.
Just like that?
No, we'll keep it straight.
No, but it looks like it's on the piece, right?
It's probably is on this.
So weird.
No, it's on the test cup. When was the last time you used the camera? Forever ago.
So we've just entered the red buoys, which mark the 250 metre to go to the finish line. And definitely Emma Pittman has a very good lead at this position at this point in time in lane 8, followed by Imogen Hubbard in lane 7, and then in lane 6, Chelsea Wolfe would be in 3rd place.
Yeah, you can see the 3 Westies rowers who probably trained together now being put to the test in this single sculls race and, vying for 2nd and 3rd place. But just across seeing the finish line in these last few strokes, we do have a very strong lead from Emma Pittman from Swan River Rowing Club. And some cheering going on from the sidelines, which is great to hear as well.
So that's confirmed that Emma Pittman from Swan River has come across the line in first. And it will be Imogen Hubbard from West Australian Rowing Club in 3rd. And then closely followed by Chelsea Wolfe in lane 6, who will come in 3rd. They're all through. Oh, here we go. That's Sophie Fitzgerald. And we'll end the first race with Sophie Fitzgerald from UWA finishing that race. Really nice rowing. The ladies made it look easy. Let's have a look at the next race, which is now currently at the 1,000-metre mark.
Yeah, straight underway with the men's A and B single scull, and we have, we do have a second division for the women's A and B single coming down now. So in lane 2 we have from Swan River, Regan Marshall, lane 3, Curtin University's rower. I'll confirm the name on that one in a bit. From lane 4, Curtin University, Ella Waddy. Lane 5 is Swan River's Elsie Griffith. Lane 6, University of WA Boat Club, Mia Williams. Lane 7 is West Australian Rowing Club, George Bias. And lane 8 from Swan River Rowing Club is Emma O'Neill.
Now the lead rower in lane 6, Mia Williams, is definitely pushing out quite nicely in front of the field. She can see what's happening on her left and on her right. She's in a very good position in terms of being able to cover any people coming up towards her. She is about to come up towards the 500-metre mark to go.
Yeah, you're right there, Laurie. In a way, you kind of want a middle lane, don't you? Because then you can look across without having to turn your head too much and get in trouble from your coach, and just sort of see, where you're at in the race. It's good to have that bit of confidence, knowing, especially if you're out in front, that you can keep your stroke rate as low as possible and just, get your technique down pat.
Now it looks like Emma O'Neill from Swan River Rowing Club in lane 8 is certainly giving Mia a run for her money. She's definitely putting a good line of strokes in and has increased her stroke rate. So at this point in time, while Emma O'Neill, Mia Williams is... Sorry, which one have I got? Mia Williams in front. Certainly Emma O'Neill is giving her a good run for her money. And after that, these two ladies have got a very good commanding lead on the rest of the field, who are fairly close together. However, it's definitely going to be between Emma O'Neill and Mia Williams to see who takes out the winner of the Division 2 Women's 2,000 metre single scull.
They're just into those red buoys now, so you can probably start to see some of those stroke rates increasing. Yep, you can see Mia take her stroke rate up there just to finish off the race. And we also have Emma O'Neill in lane 8 starting to increase the stroke rate. Those red buoys are really where it starts to hurt, and you put in those last 20, 30 strokes just to finish off the race. Seeing some really good technique though, I reckon, Laurie. You know, this is 2,000 metres. They've been racing for a long time already, but their technique is pretty strong. Not too much splashing or anything in these kind of conditions.
Yes, Hillary, you're completely right there. They've got some lovely form and they've maintained it to the finish. And that is Mia Williams from UWA winning this race, with Emma O'Neill coming second. In third place will be... Which lane have we got there? 7.
Yeah.
That will be George Bias from the West Australian Rowing Club coming through for third place. Elsie Griffith in lane 5 coming through, and closely followed by Ella Waddy and Dura from both from Curtin University. And George Bias from West Australian. Oh, sorry, you're right too. My apologies. Regan Marshall from Swan River coming through to finish off the Women's Division 2 2,000 metre single scull.
Congratulations to all those rowers. It's pretty gutsy effort starting out in the morning at 8 o'clock on a Saturday doing a 2K race. We have coming down the course now and just past the halfway mark, the men's A and B single scull event. So we have 3 divisions in this event. Coming down the course now, we have in lane 2 from Swan River, Harry Selfinger, lane 3 from Fremantle, James Bowie, lane 4 from UWA, Oliver Cliff, lane 5 from WA Rowing Club is Jacob Lundberg, in lane 6 from UWA is Dylan Capewell, lane 7 West Australian Rowing Club, Tom Jones, and lane 8 from Fremantle, Samuel Bradell.
So as we pass into the last 500 metres of this race, it is clear that the Fremantle rower, Sam Bedell, has a reasonable lead, followed by West Australian Rowing Club's Tom Jones. And the rest of the field is fairly closely lined up after that. But at the moment, the people to watch on this one is certainly Sam Riddell in lane 8 and Tom Jones in lane 7.
And I'll just let you know as well for the Neil Smith Trophy, which is the men's A and B singles trophy for the season. Tom Jones, over the course of the season, Tom Jones is currently on top with Torsten Bird, and then Dylan Capewell also close behind for that trophy. So, yeah, interesting to see this a really close event here for the first division of the men's A and B single. See who takes first place for this one. But yeah, it does look like we have lane 8 slightly ahead at this point.
Just slightly off screen, there's quite a lot of interest with people cycling down the course to keep an eye on their favourite rower. So obviously this one is a hotly contested race and one that people are looking at with deep interest.
So they're well into the red boys now, and I would say fairly confidently that we have Fremantle's Samuel Bradell out in front. But it's going to be very close for second place. In fact, I don't think I'll be confident to say whoever comes second, but yeah, just some really strong rowing there from Fremantle's Samuel Bradell in the last few strokes of this first division of the men's A and B single scull. Is probably a good couple of lengths out in front of the second place crews.
So that's Sam Bradell coming first. In second will be Tom Jones from West Australia Rowing Club. Third is going to be tight. I'm going to go for lane 6, which is Dean Capewell. And then following after that, the rest of the crews with University of West Australia coming through to finish off the men's 2,000 metre singles race.
Congratulations to those athletes. It's really nice being up here in the commentary tower, Laurie. You can kind of hear all what happens after the race, and they're all chatting to each other and congratulating each other, which is really lovely to see that kind of sportsmanship. So, yeah, congratulations on completing that one, guys. I'm sure that they'll be out in crews for the rest of the day. So, good to get that single scull event out of the way, I imagine. But we're just coming up to the halfway mark for Division 2 of the men's A and B single scull. So for this, we have 6 athletes. So starting in lane 3 from University of WA, it's Isaac Hamilton. In lane 4, UWA again with Ethan Bromley. Lane 5 is Curtin University's Liam Dewar. In lane 6 from Fremantle, Remy Payne. Lane 7 is from Swan River, and that's Ethan Mayfield. And in lane 8 from University, it's Jacob Minchin.
And it looks like Ethan Mayfield has got a very good lead over the field with Payne from Fremantle in lane 6 being the next closest competitor to him at this point in time as we pass through the 500 metre to go point. Like Remy Payne in lane 6 has got a commanding lead and has certainly got the other rowers covered. With closely behind him is Liam Dewar from Curtin University in lane 5. And then effectively the rest of the field is still fairly tight. So the competition for third place is still not an easy one to work out. But I think we have effectively our first and second places reasonably well covered at this point in time.
And just seeing Remy Payne there crossing soon for Fremantle, just the stroke rate really, really high there, but still some pretty good technique, after 2 kilometres. So congratulations there to Remy Payne from Fremantle. And we've got a fairly close race here for second. But it looks like we have Curtin University Liam Dewar there taking out second place. And then in third from University, I believe it's Isaac Hamilton there, but I'll check with the umpires. But yeah, fairly close field there for the second division. And we have Swan River Rowing Club.
And that looks like we've got Ethan Mayfield, who is finishing off who completes that 2,000 metres men's Division 2 race. Next race is the Division 3 of the men's 2,000 metre course. In lane 3, we have Aaron Crawley from West Australian Rowing Club. In lane 4, we have Caleb Levers from University of West Australian Rowing Club. We have scratchings in lanes 5 and lane 6. And in lane 7, we have William Main from Fremantle Rowing Club. And in lane 8, we have Max Werner from Curtin University.
So yeah, just 4 rowers competing for this final division with those scratchings, Laurie. And it looks like at this point, just after the 500 metres, we have lane 7 out in front, being William Main from Fremantle.
William Main, and we're in lane 8, Max Werner from Curtin University Boat Club, hot on his heels.
Yeah, I'd say also lane 3 is getting up there and even possibly just overtaking there. It's going to be quite interesting to see who takes out second place here. All crews now coming into those red buoys very shortly and just putting in those last 250 metres of the race. But it's going to be very tight for second place. I think we still have William Main from Fremantle out in front, but we have from Westies, we have Aaron Crawley putting in some really strong strokes there to, I think possibly be in second place right now, but it's going to be very close between those two crews.
Yes, you're not going to be able to split anything at this point in time for second place. Clearly, we have William Main from Fremantle in the lead, and he should be able to take this one across to the line. But second place is very close. It's too close for us to call at this point in time. It's going to be very close. It's between Max Werner and Aaron Crawley. And at this point, we're not prepared to say any... Oh, yes, so the Curtin University rower has made it across. So Max Werner has basically taken it out ahead of Aaron Crawley. Well done to him. And we wait for the other rowers to make their way over the finish line in a very well fought race that we've just witnessed. That's Caleb Levers finishing off the race for today, finishing off the Division 3 men's 2,000 metre single scull.
So pretty good conditions for those single scull events, which is always handy to have early in the morning. We heard the administrating sort of briefing meeting this morning, Laurie, that could be a bit of wind around lunchtime, but otherwise fairly good conditions out here at Champion Lakes for Pennant number 4. The next event will be the under-19 women's single scull with 2 divisions in that one, and we are expecting them to start fairly soon. We haven't seen them start off just yet, but we'll let you know when they do.
Now, one thing we were told about at one of the briefings this morning was that there were a few scratchings, and we did see a couple of scratchings in that race. there's been a flu that's been going around Perth, and it's actually obliterating some of the clubs. So we've got walking wounded, and so that is part of what the athletes are facing at this point in time. Now the winds today are light. They're coming in from an easterly direction, and as the course is aligned in a northeasterly plane, it means that while there's a slight side breeze, there'll also be a trailing breeze for some of these rowers, which should help with some reasonable times over the 1,000 and 2,000 metre course.
Do you have a favourite breeze if you're rowing, Laurie? If it has to be a headwind or a tailwind, what would you prefer?
It's funny. While you might say that for timing, to try and get a fast time, I love a tail breeze, but the stability, a head breeze will set you up and make you look like a better rower sometimes.
That's right. And just, coming into the screen now, we can see that they've had a good start of the first division for the under-19 women's single scull. For this particular division, in lane 2, we have from A&A Priya Harris. In lane 3, from Swan River Rowing Club, Eleanor Taylor. In lane 4, from West Australian Rowing Club, Eleanor Casas Huelin. In lane 5, from Fremantle, Olivia Kelly. In lane 6, from West Australian Rowing Club, G. Williams Green. And lane 7 from University of WA is Eleanor Frank, and lane 8 from Swan River, Alicia Garvey. So a fairly full field for this first division of the under-19 women's single scull event. Just on the screen as well, I can see that there's been a little bit of steering issues with lane, I can't see, I think it's been lane 6 that's possibly come out of her lane and might be trying to get back in. It doesn't seem to have stopped the race. She's not interfering with any of the other crews, but obviously a bit tricky to stay straight in these conditions, it looks like.
Yes, and for those of you who are not familiar with rowing, you can go outside your designated lane as long as you do not impede other rowers. So that rower who's moved across from lane 6 into lane 5 can quite happily stay there if they wish, and then as long as they don't impede the person that is basically in front of them, who would be on the...
Olivia Kelly, I believe,
yes.
lane 5, And I think we have a fairly clear winner. No. It's really close, but I think just out in front at the moment from West Australian Rowing Club is Eleanor Casas Huelin in lane 4, but it's going to be really close. There's there's 4 rowers out there at the front at the moment, including lane 7 and 8. So Eleanor Frank from UWA and Alicia Garvey from Swan River, also very close up there in the top ranks. So they're all going to be hurting, I'd suggest. Coming into the 500 metres now, they've done 500 metres of the race. They've got a 1,500 metre course ahead of them. So it'll be interesting to see, which technique comes out on top there. They're all rating fairly high to try and get that lead, but we'll see which one comes out in front.
Oh, look, they're doing a great job. So it looks like the rower in lane 6, which is from West Australian Rowing Club, Williams Green. Lane 4, sorry. Lane 4, Cassis Hewlin from West Australian Rowing Club has got the clear lead at this point in time. But as has been pointed out, the rowers in lanes 7 and 8 from Swan River Rowing Club and from UWA certainly still pushing hard, and as we're only halfway, it is still anybody's race for first place here.
And I'd see as well on screen, if you can see that as well, that a lot of the rowers are battling trying to stay in their lanes. So obviously quite a cross breeze out there on the course right now, and a lot of them sort of hitting the boys on their right side, which is their stroke side. So they're really having to sort of battle to stay in their lanes and stay straight. So, it could be, it could come down to the training and who's been out there training in those kind of conditions to really test their technique, because it can be really hard to then try and race in these kind of tough cross breeze conditions. And sometimes it just, especially over the 2 kilometres, it comes down to who's put that training in those windier days, I'd say.
Yeah, perfectly correct, Hilary. The training makes up for everything. And even now we've got the rower in lane 6 was having a little bit of a struggle there to straighten up and get into the centre of their lane. The blades, when you're coming forward, you want to keep them just off the water, but sometimes if you push across, you hit a buoy, which unsettles you, and that can be the difference between a first or a second place at times.
They're still coming up to the first, to the halfway mark, the 1 kilometre marker there, but I'd say that we have a fairly clear leader at this point now from West Australian Rowing Club, and that's Eleanor Casas-Whalin in lane 4. She's also, trying to work hard to stay straight, but it looks like she's got a fairly sort of low stroke rate, is looking pretty comfortable out there in first place at this point, but we'll see. Actually, now she's coming into the sort of bow side of her lane. Yeah, so it looks like, quite tricky conditions for some of these single sculler rowers in the under-19 division, just to stay straight and, keep it together. But they're both, they're all doing really well to come down this 2 kilometre course.
We're basically just come to the 500 metres to go, and with 500 metres to go, Eleanor Casas-Whalin is still commanding a good lead from the West Australian Rowing Club. Then still hot on her heels though, Eleanor Frank and Alicia Garvey from University of West Australia and Swan River Rowing Clubs. So they're certainly giving it a good push, as well as Olivia Kelly from Fremantle, who looks as if she's basically having a good push, and she is in a position to get herself into that third place positioning, depending on how she is able to negotiate this last less than 500 metres, about 400 metres to go.
A lot of cheering from the banks I can hear, Laurie, which is really great. Make sure you cheer on your club members and your rowers. But I think we've got a fairly clear lead still, although she is being pushed by the second place crews. But in lane 4, we have out in front, I believe, from West Australian Rowing Club, Eleanor Casas-Whalin. Just finishing off in this sort of the last 250 metres to go, we have the top crews now coming into the red buoys and increasing their stroke rate as they come into the finish line.
Yes, Hilary, that's definitely Eleanor is definitely pushing hard. However, we still have a good push coming through in lane 6 from Williams Green. It's making quite a bit of a difference. 6 or 7. Eleanor Frank. So we have the winner of this in Eleanor Casas-Whalin from West Australian Rowing Club. Well done, well deserved. In second place is Eleanor Frank from University of West Australian Boat Club. And then in third, we had Alicia Garvey from Swan River. And in fourth, we've had, for West Australian Rowing Club, we've had Williams Green. We're waiting for 2 other rowers to complete. It can be, on the 2,000 metre course, it can be quite lonely sometimes when you find that you've given it all, but you're still a long way behind.
It's a long way down that course. Eleanor Taylor from Swan River Rowing Club just finishing the course there. And we have 2 more rowers to come down. But this was the first division of the women's under-19 single scull event. So, they're all teenagers. They're all possibly racing as part of their school events as well. So congratulations to all these athletes for completing those 2 kilometres of that single scull race.
That's Priya Harris from A&A Rowing Club, just crossed. And I think that's the completion of the women's under-19 2,000 metre single sculling race. Excuse me. Race, and in lane 1 from Swan River we have Riley Stewart. In lane my apologies, in lane 2 of Swan River, Riley Stewart. In lane 3 we have Vera Rafferty from Swan River. In lane 4 we have April Bruton from Fremantle. In lane 5 we have Rosie Bennison from Curtin University. In lane 6, we have Olive McGrath from A&A. In lane 7, we have Ophelia Go from Curtin University. And in lane 8, we have Sophia Lozic from A&A Rowing Club. Out of screen, we can see some of the marquees that are lined up near the finish line, and they're being buffeted quite heavily. There's clearly a breeze down low that is obviously a cross breeze that's causing a little bit of difficulty for some of the rowers, and it's making it a little bit more challenging. So the ladies are having to work a lot harder today just to make sure that they stay lined up in their lanes and to work over that 2,000 metre course in order to basically see how they go compared to the other people that they're rowing with.
And Laurie, I've just had some inside information about this particular event. So the last time they raced, we had Ophelia Go in from lane 7, Curtin University. She took out this event. And then in second place, we had from A&A, Olive McGrath. So it'll be interesting to see how they go in these conditions and for Pennant 4. But it was Ophelia last time that took out this event. The time for that one was 10 minutes and 9 seconds. So yeah, we'll see how they go. They've just crossed the halfway mark now. We are having a few issues with the drone, so we're using our good old eyesight to see where these athletes are coming. But we've got a very good view from the finishing tower to sort of get a whole full length of the course. It looks like there could be some, steering troubles. As we saw in Division 1, some of the crews found it pretty tricky to stay in their lanes, and I think I can see in lane 8 there's in fact 2 crews coming down, or 2 single sculls coming down. So it looks like there is quite a cross breeze out there on the course for these athletes to try and battle to keep their skulls straight and to try and stay in that straight line. And I think it really probably comes down to that in these kind of conditions, who can go the straightest and keep their technique together for that 2 kilometres.
It's while all rowers love to row on nice calm water, it's those who actually go out when the weather's a little bit less favourable that actually are able to refine their technique and actually become much better equipped to deal with these sort of conditions when they do eventuate.
It is a little bit tricky to see, but I'd suggest that possibly we have maybe in lane 3 Fremantle's April Bruton, who's possibly out in front, but it's going to be pretty close, I think, for first place at this point. They've just crossed the 500 metre mark, the first sort of 3 or 4 scullers in the lead at the moment.
And I think based on what we're seeing, it looks like the second place is Rosie Bennison from Curtin University, followed quite closely by Olive McGrath from A&A in lane 6. I think they are our front 3 rowers for the course. However, we shouldn't write off lane 8, where I'm just trying to see whether that is a Curtin University rower or the A&A rower, because we've got 2 in the same lane there. I think that's the A&A rower. So I think the rower in lane 8, Sophia Loz, is our 4th rower in this field at this point in time.
And just coming into the Red Boys now, I'm fairly confident that's a Fremantle Zooty with April Bruton there in lane 3, who's out in front. And then we have Curtin University there, Rosie Bennison, potentially, in second place. So 2 Curtin crews, and then also A&A in lane 8, sort of in those top lead positions. But just probably 10 or 15 strokes to go for a fairly convincing lead there from April Bruton from Fremantle Rowing Club in lane 3. Lots of cheering coming along from the sidelines, Laurie, which is really great. People really getting into it. Congratulations there to April for crossing first there in that first division.
And it looks like the next 2 rowers, well, actually we've got a Curtin University rower, so that should be Renee Bennison basically coming through. I think she'll take it out quite happily for second place, followed by, it looks like again, the Curtin rower is being pushed pretty hard by the A&A rower, so we've got a good sort of push here for third place. It's
you
nothing
can see them crossing, looking across to see who's in front, but I believe it'll be the Curtin rower there, just ahead of A&A, probably half a boat length there, if that. Some really close racing, which is great to see, and we've got, we've actually got another race coming down, it looks like, so they've started them fairly close together. We've got some of the women's finishing up, and we also have the men's under-19 just crossing the line almost the same time as the final. Yep, we have from Swan River Rowing Club there from under-19. That took us a bit by surprise.
Yes. So that so Swan, yes. So we have basically the men's under-19. So that was so the men's under-19 Division 1 2,000 metre race. They've really ripped down the course. They've certainly not left anything left in the tank. We're actually just trying to discern where we have at the moment. We've got quite a mix of boats out there. It's obviously the mixture of a women's crew and a men's crew coming afterwards, men being a slightly stronger than most women, and able to cover the course in a slightly quicker time, which is certainly evened things up quite a bit in terms of we've got a lot of single sculls that are milling around now after a well-deserved race.
Yeah, and I think that's probably why we saw the two boats in the same lane there, Laurie. It wasn't to do with steering, it was to do with two events coming down at the same time. So, yeah, congratulations to all those athletes there for finishing up in the women's under-19 single. And then we've also now got the, underway right now is the second division of the men's under-19 single. So in lane 3 from Fremantle, Tug Bryan. In lane 4 from A&A, Aidan Tyson. In lane 5 from Swan River, Curtis Duff. In lane 6 from Swan River also is Kelvin Tian. In lane 7 from A&A, Spencer Lecoultre. In lane 8 from West Australian Rowing Club is Cameron Andrews. Cameron Andrews from West Australian came second in this last event. So, yeah, we'll see how he goes today. But certainly some strong rowers out there this morning battling it out for the under-19 men's single scull.
And it looks clearly that Cameron Andrews, who we were told had won this race last regatta, is certainly in a very commanding position to do the same again. With 500 metres to go, he's certainly doing very well in lane 8. He's got a commanding lead over the other boats in the water. I think the next closest one to him is Kelvin Tan from Swan River Rowing Club, I believe. And it looks like we've got only 4 rowers in this particular race. So it's going to be a little easier to call. We're going to have less to look at it at any point in time. There's 5.
We have got the drone back up and running, so if you can see that on your screen now, you'll notice that a lot of the rowers are in sort of the strokes side of their lane, so battling that crosswind again and trying to stay straight. But yeah, quite a clear lead there from West Australian Rowing Club's Cameron Andrews, who came second last time in this event. So yeah, really strong rowing. We've already seen the first division come down very quickly, but this is the second division. We have one more coming up after this as well.
One of the things that does tend to happen if you do have a very commanding lead, you're able to not so much ease up, but you're certainly not so desperate to pushing for the line. You've got everything under control. You basically know where you are. You know where your opposition is. That's one of the great things about rowing. If you're out in front, you can see everyone who's behind you. It's always a great feeling.
And just in the red buoys now, you can see Cameron look behind just to check how far he has to go, how many more strokes. And there was also a bit of a headwind that's come onto the course for the red buoys, so those crews, those athletes will be sort of battling into the headwind as they finish the last bit of their 2-kilometre race. But congratulations there to Cameron Andrews from from WA Rowing Club for taking out that second division of the men's under-19 single scull.
And it looks like Kelvin Tian from Swan River Rowing Club is in a good position to take out the second place in the men's Division 2 2,000 metres race. But following closely, so while he seems to be well positioned there, the race for 3 is going to be close. The third place rower, we've had the Swan River rower in terms of Mr. Duff has upped his stroke rate and certainly taken a lead on Tyson from A&A. He's certainly picked up the rating, which has paid dividends to give him the 3rd place, followed by...
I believe we have...
Fremantle. Sorry, T. Bryan.
Yeah.
the ANA rower has just crossed, so that Aidan Tyson in lane 4. That finishes the men's under 19 Division 2 2,000 metre single scull race. We now have race 10, which is underway. That's the men's under 19 Division 3 2,000 metre single scull. Hilary, I'll get you to run through the
Sure. So,
competitors.
yeah, in lane 3 from West Australian Rowing Club, Matthew Kodachi. In lane 4 from A&A Rowing Club is Alex Ward. In lane 5, also from A&A Rowing Club, Marco McDonald. In lane 6 from West Australian Rowing Club is Ethan Kingsbury, and I'm told he came 4th in his division last time. In lane 7, we have from West Australian Rowing Club, Fox Douglas, who came 2nd in his division last time, so it'll be interesting to see how those two go head-to-head today. And then to finish up the field, we have in lane 8 from Fremantle Rowing Club, Luke Brennan. And I believe at this point in time we have lane 7's Fox Douglas from West Australian Rowing Club out in front with a fairly high stroke rate and probably about a boat length ahead of Luke Brennan from Fremantle. They're just coming into the last half of the race, so certainly not over yet, but it'll be interesting to see how these two go for the last 1,000 metres. And I'd say potentially Luke Brennan trying to have a bit of a push now to try and see if he can get that lead, but at the moment in lane 7 it's certainly Fox Douglas out in front.
Of the remaining rowers in the course, we have just check on that. That looks like that's in lane 4. We have Ethan Kingsbury from West Australian Rowing Club. We then have Marco McDonald from A&A Rowing Club. And then we have Alex Ward and Matthew Kardachi basically towards the back end of the field.
If you're watching on the live stream or even on the big screen here at Champion Lakes, you'll see in the far sort of right corner a lot of cyclists coming down. I'd say a few coaches there or maybe parents following along the whole course, the 2 kilometres. But yeah, it's going to actually be really interesting to see who takes this spot, Laurie, because they're just coming into the Red Boys now. And Fremantle's Luke Brennan really going for it to try and get a lead on Fox Douglas in lane 7. They're really going stroke for stroke now, and Fox Douglas having a bit of issues with the steering and just going over actually his lane and not worrying about that, just trying to edge out and retain that lead that he's had for most of the course, it looks like. But it's really close coming into the last 20 strokes or so. I really can't tell who's out in front. It's really stroke for stroke. They're looking across to see if they're edging out. Really exciting racing here in the final division of the men's under 19 single scull. If you're rigging, maybe stop what you're doing and have a look at the course. Possibly Fox Douglas just out in front.
Oh yes, Fox Douglas just takes it by a quarter of a canvas. Oh, very well raced, with Luke Brennan coming in second. There's quite a bit of a squall coming through on the rowers at the moment, and that is certainly causing a little bit of havoc with their ability to have clean, consistent rowing. They're battling a little with the weather, and it is a bit of a headwind, so it's slowing them down by quite a bit. As we wait, we see...
I think we've got Ethan Kingsbury there in lane 6 from West Australian Rowing Club, just finishing his 2-kilometre course.
Thank you,
But yeah, as you say, Laurie, it's quite a cross breeze now that they are battling. And then we also have 2 more rowers finishing up. So also from West Australian Rowing Club, Matthew Kadachi there, now crossing the finish line.
And following up, it will be Marco McDonald from ANA Rowing Club to finish off the Division 3 of the men's under-19 2,000 metre single scull. Oh, my apologies. No, bit too early there. Sorry, we have another rower basically still coming down the course. Now that rower is also from ANA, and that will be lane 4, so there'll be Alex Ward from ANA putting in a good, sorry, no, that'll be Alex Ward's already crossed. It'll be Marco McDonald who'll be coming through now. Is that Alex? Sorry, my apologies. Alex Ward from ANA just crossing there. So that finishes up the Division 3 under-19 men's 2,000 metre single scull race. We have a slight change of pace now, so we are now going into with the A and B grades, they race over 2,000 metres, and with the other divisions, they race over 1,000 metres. So at the moment, we're getting the rowers for the Race 11, the women's D double scull, ready at the 1,000 metre mark, and I'll get Hillary to introduce the field.
Thanks, Laurie. So in lane 2 from West Australian Rowing Club, we have Ash James and Gabrielle Williams-Green. I'm told Ash, in a different combination, won this division last time, so they're certainly one to watch from from West Australian, Rowing Club. In lane 3 from Swan River, we have Henri Sagayama and Sophie Kemp. In lane 4 from ANA, we have Zoe Taylor and Sarah Monkton. In lane 5 from UWA, Camilla Green and Candice Walsh. In lane 6, also from UWA, Emily Boyle and Jamie Burville. Lane 7, we have a scratching from West Australian Rowing Club, and lane 8 from UWA is Emily Ewan and Dimity Ball.
It's quite interesting what's happened with the wind today, whereas before we had a slight headwind, now it's definitely a breeze that's going into the backs of the rowers as they're forging ahead.
I'd say for the later crews doing sweep rowing, you might want to have a stronger stroke side today to try and stay straight, or a very good coxswain to keep your lane in these kind of conditions. We saw out with the single scullers this morning that, yeah, it can be really hard, and some of them touching the buoys and even going into other lanes because of that.
And Hillary, that's a good point. With the coxless boats, the emphasis on the person who's steering, sometimes it can be steered from stroke seat, sometimes it can be steered from bow seat, but however, a lot more pressure on them to basically get the boat lined up properly. One of the nice things about a buoyed course is you do have a good perspective as to what's going on. Sometimes on the courses, say river courses, where you don't have the lanes lined up like this, you find that the rowers or the person steering needs to turn around and have a look at where things are happening. That always causes a little bit of disruption. So hopefully we'll find that this is not going to be too much of an impediment to the rowers as they progress down the course.
We've just had a very nice delivery, Laurie, of some of the baked goods that ANA Rowing Club members have kindly baked overnight or even got up early this morning to do it. Lemon slice, we've got some apple cakes, we've got lots of delicious caramel slice, as well as some bacon and egg rolls. I can see people queuing up for them. They're that good. They really are. And there's also coffee. I'm one of those annoying people who has oat milk, and they have oat milk, Laurie. So, look, if you're hungry, if you're getting a bit cold in this wind and you need something to warm you up, then make sure you go along to the tower and grab yourself something to eat. And all proceeds going to A&A Rowing Club, who is hosting today's event for Pennant 4. Have you got your raffle tickets yet, Laurie?
No, I haven't. I better go down and get one. Oh, dear me. I hope they take tap. You know,
Tap and go.
Yes?
Yeah, it
good.
sure does.
I thought the raffles had died off on some of these regattas. I'm so glad that they're coming back. It's just so much fun to come home after a hard day's rowing and present your wife with your hard-earned winnings.
So we're just waiting for the start of the women's D grade double scull, and this is the 1 kilometre, one of the 1 kilometre race events. Looking down the course, I can see a lot of boats sort of facing the wrong way, not the wrong way, but they're obviously having to line up and really hold their line, and so they're sort of across the course at the moment, not yet started. So yeah, the umpires and the rowers battling these sort of windy, crosswind conditions to try and get a good start for this event.
Yes, you can clearly see the boat sideways, just trying to make sure that they're not drifting. They normally try and point the bow into the wind so that they can basically maintain their position on the course. My understanding was last week there was very strong winds, and there were quite a few boats that when they started off, they were aligned such that there were some collisions shortly after the start. So the marshals do their best to try and make sure the boats line up correctly. They're not held on the start line for too long, and that there's a good, clean start to the race so that they can basically head down the course without any issues.
The breaking news from the commentary team, Laurie, is that we have 10 raffle prizes at A&A. Not just one big, basket that one person gets to take home, but 10 raffle prizes to choose from if you're lucky enough to be one of the winners. And they're all deluxe. There's lots of Rocky Road, there's some wine, there's some kind of hampering products in there. They're all great. And you can get 3 tickets for $5, which is a pretty good deal these days, I reckon. That's less than a coffee.
Oh, look, that's brilliant. In fact, if you only hear Hillary up here for the next half hour, it's because I've gone to get my raffle tickets. We've got 2 divisions over there. Effectively, we've got 2 sets of 2 divisions basically lined up. So effectively, you'll have the racing division, which is the current one, which is race 11. But in order to try and make sure the regatta runs smoothly, the people in race 12 are ready and lined up to basically take their place after the first race heads off. So while you can see around about 16 boats on the course at the moment. That's because we've got 2 races basically preparing for the start, which will be not too far away. crew moving into lane 6. So we've almost got ourselves a full field here. Yes, we have 6 boats. We have lane 7. There is a scratching. So it's... And look, we've got a start. We have got a start. Crews have done very well. We've got a couple of crews basically battling with the boys. That's the crew in lane 5 are battling with the boys at the moment, but they've sorted themselves out. However, crew in lane 2 is also having a little bit of a challenge. Should say lane. Where is it? Lane 2 is 3 is actually having a little bit of an issue at the moment, just keeping themselves where they need. Or lane 4. So we're but look, everyone's moving quite well at the moment, and interestingly enough, the double from West Australian Rowing Club is certainly powering down in lane 2. They've certainly got their act together, and they're certainly at this point in time, they're in the first 250 metres. They've made a really good showing and a really good start over the rest of the field.
So in this crew we have Ash James and Gabrielle Williams-Green, and we understand that Ash James was part of the crew that won this division last time in a pretty convincing lead, more than 20 seconds. So they have made quite a lead. They're probably at least 2 boat lengths in front of second place at the moment, and doing really well in these windy conditions. And I suggest they're probably used to kind of some of these conditions at training out of West Australian Rowing Club there down by the Bell Tower in Perth. So they're doing really well. They're showing really good technique, keeping it together, really good timing, and probably three boat lengths at least ahead of second place at this point.
And also we've got University of WA in lane 6. Looks like they're in second place at this point in time. They've done quite well. They're still pushing a little across the boys. They are still having a few directional issues, which I think they're correcting at this point in time. Third place, I think, is UWA in lane 8. And then the field is fairly close. We've got the UWA, ANA and Swan River crews in 3, 4 and 5 are fairly close together. So it's going to be a good race in the minor placings. However, certainly the West Australian Rowing crew in lane 2 still the boat to beat at this point in time.
From the finishing tower, you can really hear the wind and the breeze is coming through. So, and I'm told it's quite cold out there as well. So, rowers are doing really well just to stay in their lanes and get down this course. We've got some birds getting out of the way of the first crew coming down the line now, which is from West Australian Rowing Club, Ash James and Gabrielle Williams-Green in lane 1. And they are, you can see them battling to stay straight. Their boat's really being pushed over to the right-hand side of the course, or the stroke side of the course. And in lane 2, you can see there's actually 2 crews. So the umpires are keeping a very close eye on them just to make sure there's no collisions. But it looks like Swan River and potentially ANA in the same lane there. But now it looks like it's resolved. But anyway, just hitting into the red boys now. We've got Westies out really strong, a good 3 or 4 lengths ahead of second place. In second place, I believe we probably have UWA, Jamie Burville and Emily Boyle there.
That's correct. And in third place, in lane 8, a university crew as well, which is the James and Williams Green. Again, you can see the wind pushing some of these boats around. We have the crew not impeding on anybody, but certainly moving across. That's the crew in lane 7, the Curtin University crew. That's a university crew, I should say.
And just taking their last few strokes now from Westies, taking out this division, Ash James and Gabriel Williams Green. Congratulations.
Lane 5, we have UWA just crossing the line for second place. Lane 8, UWA crossing. And then in lane 4, we've got ANA have just crossed. And Swan River Rowing Club in lane 3 have just crossed in front of the crew from University in lane 6.
We've just got an umpire's boat that's keeping an eye on an A&A crew, Zoe Taylor and Sarah Monkton, who have come sort of off the course. They're just having a few issues getting back on with the wind there. But yeah, we've got the safety boat with them just making sure they're okay.
Okay, the next race that is underway is the Women's Double Scull Division 2, and that is race 12. From Swan River, we have Lucy in lane 2, Lucy Chamberlain and Selena Ibram. In lane 3, from ANA, we have Lucy Dunn Paulus and Mel Quinn. In lane 4, from UWA, we have Ada Potter and Honor Airy. In lane 5 from ANA, we have Ashley Ishak and Jindali Sherman. In lane 6 from West Australian Rowing Club, we have Abigail Dudley and Nora Smith. In lane 7 from Curtin University, we have Alicia Gowes and Z Liu. And in lane 8 from Perth Rowing Club, we have Diane Stewart and Regan Youngma.
It's a little bit tricky to see, but I believe out in front we have a UWA crew. I'm not going to say which one. I don't want to get into trouble, but quite a convincing lead, probably a couple of lengths ahead of the other athletes at this point. Keeping really good time together, some really long strokes in these kind of conditions. I'd suggest it's probably from lane 5 from University, Camilla Green and Candice Walsh out in front at the moment. It'll be pretty close to see who gets second place. It's between ANA's Zoe Taylor, ANA's Lucy Dan Paulers and Mel Quinn.
We definitely...
Yeah, like the thing is, I don't need...
That beep there was just for the last crew of the division before from ANA, just finishing up their race.
Okay, so coming to the line from UWA in lane 4, who will take out the women's double scull 1,000 metre Division 2 race, and that is them gone through. We then have the next ones look like it's the crew from ANA in lane 3 will take out second place. Well done to you. And then we've had the crew from...
It's just it could have been Perth, Laurie, but it's hard to tell. It was very close.
It was. So yes, Perth. That makes perfect sense. So we're coming through. So we think that's they've come through for third place, and that is. We've still got 2 more boats on the water to battle it out. That looks like we've got the Swan River Invitation crew in lane 2, and the crew from ANA in lane 3 crossing. Still this race? Okay, and we still have a West Australian Rowing Club boat coming down the course. There,
It's all about making the kids...
it would appear they have changed lanes, I think, because I don't have them on the board at the moment. But It's difficult conditions out there, and it's steering is not always easy. As you can see that they're still having a little bit of a challenge just to get their timing right. They've obviously had a little bit of a steering issue there, so they're battling with that as well as the wind. So it's good work for them to basically cross the line.
Yeah, so that's cool. It's cool. Interesting. Yeah, you could come from the airport.
See.
Very sweet of him. So, yeah. Yeah. I was only wait week.
So just coming down the course now and just crossing the halfway mark for the 1 kilometre race is the Masters Women's Coxless 4.
Oh, right. Yes, UWA. Westies, sorry. Westies.
So I believe we have a UWA composite crew coming down the course in front there. And then in sort of lane 7, 8, we have West Australian Rowing Club.
We have on our rostered Curtin University Perth Composite Club entered in lane 8, but at this point in time we can't see them on the course, so we'll have to assume that they did not start. You can see a bit of a change in direction. The UWA composite, so the Westies composite, the Westies crew are certainly having some difficulty with the wind. They've moved across a couple of lanes. It's challenging conditions out there, but it's the UWA composite will take out the race 13, the mixed women's coxless Masters 4.
And that's a really tricky event, isn't it, Laurie, in the best of times to steer a coxless 4. So, yeah, well done to that crew. Michaela Main, Caroline Foster, Carolyn Fennell and Orla Flecker making up that crew. And I would suggest that they might have been doing that in anticipation of rowing over at Bled in Slovenia for the World Masters Rowing Championships, which is coming up in a couple of weeks. So some of the Masters crews in Western Australia are sort of preparing to go over for that, and I think this is a really good opportunity for them to race. So yeah, you'll see some of those crews out today.
Masters rowing and the ability to go on some of the international meets is one of the wonderful things about progressing your rowing from when you go from being 25 and being able to become a master. It is a great thing. You meet lots of people from around the world. I've been on one. Hillary's been on one. It is a wonderful thing. So you've got a camaraderie. Look, it's something to keep in mind. So yes, if you're into rowing, you don't have to give up when you hit your 30s. We even have Alan Salisbury from the West Australian Rowing Club, who's in his 90s, still competing. Look, it's a sport for all ages.
That's why it's the best sport, isn't it? You can just keep rowing. You don't have to stop. So this next event you see coming down, just crossing the 500 metre mark now, is race 14. So it's the men's D grade Coxed 4. In lane 6 we have UWA, in lane 7 Curtin University, and in lane 8 another Curtin University crew.
So at this point in time, it's the crew in lane 8 that have the lead, but not by too much. There's certainly the crew in lane 6, the University of WA crew, is still keeping well and truly in touch with them. So this is anybody's race. We're at about 400 metres to go. There's certainly anything could happen at this point in time.
Cox is doing really well as well to keep a line for their crews, and I can see the two out in the front have a bow loaded Cox, which means that the person steering and making some of the calls for the crew, right at the front, so at the bow, and they're sitting down, their legs are kind of squished in into the hull of the boat, and they can kind of see the course, but they can't really see what's going on behind them. They've got to kind of trust their crew that they know what they're doing, maybe make some calls if they notice any changes, but otherwise their job is really to stay straight as much as they can in these kind of crosswind conditions. What do you think, Laurie? Is it UWA out in front slightly?
I'm putting my money on Curtin University at this point in time. UWA is certainly doing a good job, but I think it's Curtin University that have basically made this in. But it's only a canvas. Oh, sorry. No, it's funny. From the tower, it looks a little bit different than it does on the screen.
A lot of cheering going on for the last 10 strokes of this race.
There's not much in it. There is not much in it.
If you're on the screen, you can see them coming into the final boys now, and I would say it's Curtin University in lane 8.
Well done.
Who've taken out that event. Congratulations.
Motored home and going over the top of UWA. Well done. And we will have Curtin University coming through for a well-deserved third place, not coming in too far behind the other people who were basically ahead of them. But again, sterling effort to finish off the men's coxed or 1,000 metre race in race 14. And one of the things I do love about rowing is the camaraderie. So at the end of the race, 3 cheers for the other crews. It's always a great piece of sportsmanship, something I think that is quite special about rowing.
Yeah, really good to hear that at the end of the races. This next one, I'm just checking the time. The umpires are doing well to try and keep as much to time as possible. 9:29 at the moment, and we've got the women's C grade single scull, which was scheduled to start at 9:26, so only a few minutes behind schedule at the moment. But they will be, it looks like they might even be underway actually for the women's C grade single scull. So this is another 1,000 metre event. In lane 2 from A&A, we have Isabella Melbourne. In lane 3 from UWA Boat Club, Lara O'Brien. Lane 4 from Fremantle, Maho Ono. In lane 5 from Canning Bridge is Linda Peppel. In lane 6, Curtin University's Lily Hare. And in Swan River, lane 7 is Millie Moharich.
Now already we're seeing some of the rowers moving lanes. It's certainly quite challenging.
Oh, sorry, I said they're underway. I don't think they are. Maybe they are right now.
Yes.
Sorry, they were just lining up, but yeah, you're right, Laurie. They are working to stay in their lanes. And in fact, we have 2 boats in one lane at the moment that the umpire is keeping a very close eye on. If you're watching the screen, you'll see that. But they've now resolved that with the lane 3 now occupied.
Now, the marshal's boat that travels behind the scullers, their job is to try and assist the rowers. Sometimes the rowers can't see what's behind them. They will sometimes trail the field and give instructions to give an idea of whether a boat may need to go left, go right, in order to make sure they stay within their lanes. So it's not a passive role. They are very active, and they tend to basically keep an eye on the boats where they think there might be some need of intervention, and they provide the assistance as needed.
Just an indication of how windy as it is. Phil, one of our other commentators up here, has just pointed out that the, I think it's a UWA tent, the big sort of green and yellow one that they normally have up, they've actually taken that down. So, yeah, just the wind is proving a bit challenging for conditions out here at Champion Lakes Regatta Centre this morning for Pennant number 4. We're just watching the women's C grade single scull event at the moment, Division 1. It's going to be really close, I think, Laurie. We've got a few crews battling it out for first place and also battling to keep straight and in their lanes. I'd suggest possibly lane 1 at the moment is looking strong. So that's Isabella Melbourne from A&A Rowing Club.
I'd agree with you there, Hilary. That's definitely who's in the lead. However, it's the Canning Bridge rower in lane 5 and the Swan River rower in lane 2 are certainly going to give her a run for her money, and it will be very close as to who comes through for second on this race, if not who comes through for first. From the tower, we're still trying to work out if some of the lanes have swapped over. We know that the rower in lane 2 is, is now lane 1. In lane 1 is ahead. We're trying to work out whether that is actually crossed over from lane 3. It looks like it may be the University of WA rower. That's what we think. And then, so that means that's lane 2 effectively. Just swap over. The rower from A&A, we believe, is in lane 2. And we do have another rower from Canning Bridge who is at the rear of the field. But let's just focus on what we can see. And I think that's the UWA rower in lane 2, which is Lara O'Brien. Lara O'Brien, who appears to be well and truly in control at this point in time in the race.
Yeah, getting in some really nice long strokes there. You can see her rate's not too high. She's really pushing away. Got not much splash from the blades, which is good, and obviously has a great technique there. So still trying to work on not getting hit with those buoys, which can be a challenge in these conditions. But it looks like she's got a fairly strong lead at the moment, and coming into the red buoys now, which is the last 250 metres of the race.
It's Lara O'Brien from University is certainly working very well. We're well and truly, we're about 100 metres to go. She looks as if she's got this race well and truly under control. She's obviously moved lanes during the course of the race, but that's permitted. And then it looks like for the rower coming through in second is... Now, it's a dark tunic, so we normally associate that with Swan River Rowing Club, but there's definitely the Swan River Rowing Club person is in lane 7, so we're trying to identify who that rower is, which club they're from. Okay, so we're a little... the dark Azuti is normally associated with Swan River Rowing Club. There was only one of those people in there. A&A is coming across the line now, so we do know that. And then we actually have the Swan River Rowing Club rower in lane 7 finishing now. We still have another boat on the water, and that one looks like...
I believe that might be Canning
Canning Bridge,
and
thank
Linda
you.
Pepple, yeah. And I believe it might have been Curtin University there in second place with Lily Hare.
Interesting enough, the boats that have just finished, they've stopped rowing. They're waiting for the last rower to come across. That's the respect you pay for your fellow competitors. But they're having to put in a couple of strokes just to stay stationary. So that's the completion of race 15, the women's sea scull over 1,000 metres.
Crews rowing up a division there. So that was the C grade single scull. We had quite a number of D grade rowers in that event. So obviously just testing out their abilities there, and we've got 3 divisions in total for this women's C grade single scull, and plenty of C and D rowers taking part. See if anyone notices a change of voice now. We've got Laurie gone to get a coffee, and welcoming Phil, who's coming to commentate alongside us this morning. And we've got the second vision of the women's C grade single scull.
We've got the Westies rower in lane 8 who's hanging around with the boys a little bit. I think she wants to try and get off of them as quickly as she can. Also, the two rowers in lanes 1 and 2 are getting quite tight. They want to keep apart. Otherwise, the Westies rower is looking very strong at the moment.
We've got Olivia Johnston from Westies there in lane 8, Bill. The other competitors we have today, so in lane 2 from A&A, Alyssa Mansell. In lane 3 from Swan River, Elizabeth Alexandra Flett. In lane 4 from UWA, Fleur Timmins. In lane 5 from Fremantle, April Broughton. In lane 6 from A&A, Sophie Pilot. And in lane 7 from West Australian Rowing Club is Olivia Foster.
I can see that I think Sophie is, for A&A is coming through probably in second place, probably leading the chasing pack. And Olivia in lane 8 is back on the boys again. She did come off for a little while, but she's come back on. That wind must be quite tricky out there. Sophie's going to have to work hard to keep off the chasing boats behind her. There's 3 or 4 boats there very close together. Question is now, who wants that second place? This is the stage of the race where your legs are hurting, your breathing is heavy, and do you have it in you to say, right, I'm going to take that second place? But Hilary, I don't think there's much question about who's going to take out this race unless there's something dramatic happens.
Yeah, very strong lead there from Olivia Johnston from West Australian Rowing Club. Technically in lane 8, but I think, she's really battling, as you mentioned before, those boys on the stroke side. A lot of the crews being pushed over to that side of the course. So, yeah, they're really working hard to try and row harder on stroke side, keep a straight line, and finish off the race. So this is a 1,000 metre race. And the person in the lead is Olivia Johnston from West Australian Rowing Club, and probably going to be upping the stroke rate, I'd suggest, for the last 250 metres.
I think also, you look at a technical point of view there, Hilary, you'll see with the wind, I think she's actually got a shorter stroke than she would normally have. It just looks a little bit short. I think in the breeze, she's making that adjustment to her stroke. It's working well for her, obviously. You're not quite getting the run on the boat you would normally get. When the two rowers, the A&A rower and the other Westies rower coming together, that's getting a bit close.
Yeah, thankfully the Westies rower just correcting her course there to stay in her lane.
That will slow her down. That will slow her down quite a bit.
So just the last 10 or 15 strokes to go, probably, for Olivia Johnston from West Australian Rowing Club.
Yeah, let's take a look at this technique as she comes past us here. Look at that. Well in front, looking really strong, really smooth. I think the breeze is dying off a little bit down this end of the lake, but she's going to take it out, I think, quite comfortably. And looks like Sophie from A&A is going to push through and hold on to second. Yeah, second place for Sophie. Third place for the other Westies rower, which is another Olivia.
Yeah, very strong battle there for second and third place. So it's really good to see in these divisions. A lot of competition. And as I mentioned before, this is a C grade single scull, but there's also rowers who are categorised as D grade who are rowing up a division into C.
Well, the other next division is coming right down now past the halfway line. Do you want to introduce them quickly, Hilary?
Sure. So for Division 3, the final one, in Lane 2 from Swan River, Vera Rafferty. In Lane 3 from UWA, Marianne Amato. In Lane 4 from Curtin University, Hayley Walker. Lane 5 is Fremantle's Lily Duke. In Lane 6 from UWA, Tamsin Keevil. In Lane 7 from Fremantle, Francesca Chamtalup. And in Lane 8 from UWA, Sophia Ranson.
It looks like Sophia's poking out in front at the moment, but it's not done yet. That's for sure. Is that the Fremantle rower in the middle there?
Yeah, I'd suggest so. It's probably Lily Duke there in Lane 5.
Well, Lily's going to have to put a little push on if she wants to have something to say about the result here. So Sophie from UWA down the front here, rowing very strongly through. She's not going to give this one up. She's going to push through. Oh, a little bit high there. Oh, umpire getting in the middle there.
See them looking across just to check how many more strokes they've got to finish the race. But yeah, congratulations in Lane 8 there, Sophia Ranson from UWA taking out that division. In Lane 5 we have Lily Duke from Fremantle in second place.
And another
And then-
Fremantle rower, which is Francesca, I think, coming through for third place. These are very challenging conditions now, I would suggest, Hilary. The breeze is right across the lake, pushing towards the highway.
Yeah, that's right, Phil. I mean, this morning it was kind of quite flat, the breeze. You could see it on the water, but it wasn't really making many ripples. But now you can sort of start to see a little bit of chop, particularly on the far sides, the first few lanes of the course. So, yeah, it'll really come down to how people can go in these kind of conditions. It's still an event, and you've got to compete to the best of your ability, no matter what happens out there on the water. So it'll be who's been training in these conditions, who can sort of keep their cool and stay confident. I've just seen a couple of the off-screen, but a couple of the rubbish bins falling over. So stormy conditions for Perth.
And I'm just looking at the program. Look, the next race is a pair, and you and I have both raced and rowed pairs, and they are not so easy in this kind of wind. So we'll have to see how they go. Hopefully, the umpires give them a little bit of leeway and help them, and we'll get a nice race. It may be a consolidation of the two races coming up with the men's pair, the men's C grade pair. We're waiting on the start list. In fact, I don't see any boats anywhere near the start at the moment, Hilary.
No, that's right. Yeah, they might just be working out how to put sort of two divisions into one. There have been a number of scratchings in the first division. So I imagine if they can, they'll try and put them all into that one race just to save on time. So we're just waiting on a start on the men's C grade coxless pair. We believe that they're going to put the two divisions into one race. We haven't had confirmation on that just yet, but we're just waiting on them to make a start. They're obviously getting some of the crews out onto the lanes and lined up. But as you're waiting, if you've got a bit of a break in your racing, feel free to go to the towers and grab a delicious bacon and egg roll. If you're vegetarian like me, you can probably just get the egg. I'm sure they might give you a little discount, who knows. They've also got some really great baked things up in the sort of first level if you go up the stairs. And Laurie, you've just had a coffee from there. How was the coffee?
Oh, coffee. 2 thumbs up. So it's the best coffee on the course. So you won't get any better.
That's quite a recommendation, isn't it? Yeah, all of the marquees now down, Laurie. No marquees in sight, and I think that's a bit of an indication of the conditions that some of the rowers will be facing on the course today.
And the race is coming up. The pair to me. So if you're not a rower, this is the most difficult of all the rowing disciplines. There's only 2 people in the boat, and each one has an oar each. So not only do you have to be able to balance exactly with what the other person's doing, you've also got to have the steering that kicks in there as well. So it's a very, it really is a very testing category, but a very rewarding one for those who basically get it right. So just in terms of the course we're at, this is a design that is consistent around the world. So it's designed to a standard. So you will have the same orientation in terms of major lanes that we see before us. And in the background, you'll have the lanes which you can get up to the course. So it's a standard design in Penrith. Over in Sydney, WA, exact same setup, and around the world you'll find this style of course is replicated in a number of areas. So it is a world-class venue that we have here, and we're very fortunate to have this facility in Perth.
Yeah, we sure are. And it was put to test in May this year. Laurie, we had the Masters Nationals event, even during sort of the fuel crisis at the start of the year. We had crews from all around Australia coming across to compete in that, which was really great. We had beautiful racing conditions over, from my memory anyway, for about 4 days, which was really great. And then next year we've got the Australian Nationals happening here, I believe in March, at Champion Lakes in Perth, which will be fantastic to have athletes at the top of their game from all over Australia coming and competing here in WA.
And I don't know what it is with the weather, but when we have those major meets, the weather just turns it on. It is just so nice. So we've been very fortunate when those venues come along. And the comments from other athletes who are coming through, it's just, they're basically all very supportive. They love the style of the course. They think it's very well done. So yes, it's a testament and a credit to what we can offer in this state.
Sure is. And just on screen now, you can see the start of the men's C-grade coxless pair. We believe this has been consolidated. So I'm going to read out the start list and we had a couple of scratchings, but from what we know, we've got Curtin University, 2 Curtin University crews in this event. We also have ANA, West Australian Rowing Club, ANA as again, UWA, Fremantle and Swan River. Actually, sorry, I think they were just rowing up to the start line there, but they were rowing very strongly, so I thought they'd already started the event. But so the pair event, as you mentioned, Laurie, real challenge, a real test of your technique, how much you are friends with the other person, as Phil mentioned off screen. You've got to be in it together, otherwise the boat won't go anywhere.
So now you'll have to bear with us. We're not quite sure which boats are going to be in which lane because they've consolidated the two races. So we'll call it based on what we can see in terms of the club colours. You'll find that most of our clubs have very distinctive colours. The Westies, West Australian Rowing Club, has a distinctive red. Curtin has an orange. University has a white with a green and blue diagonal stripe. The very distinctive colours, the black and white stripes of A&A. And the, let me see, who have I missed out? Did I miss out Swan River?
Canning Bridge is purple and orange. Did you mention that? And I think you mentioned that UWA was green and blue, but I think it's green and yellow, Laurie.
Oh, my apologies.
I don't want to get into any trouble from someone from UWA. So, we also have Bunbury. That's right, Bill. Yeah, so Bunbury Rowing Club is blue and red.
Okay.
Yeah.
So for today, we're going to be trying to look out for the orange boats and the boats with the black and white stripes and some of the red ones, and Fremantle, which is also green.
Greeny blue. What is that colour? Teal?
Oh,
Sorry, you don't work at a hardware shop.
50 Shades of Green is about as far as I can go with that.
And just on the big screen now, if you're watching on the live stream or at the course, we can now see that they've kind of broken away to try and probably realign some of these pair crews, really battling the cross breeze. And we have a crew from A&A also kind of on the far side of the course, so in lane 1, just battling to get out of the marshes there and some of the vegetation. They've now got away, which is good. But yeah, a bit of work from the umpires to try and get everyone lined up for the starter.
And this is part of the challenge of the pair, because each person has one oar. You're trying to basically, if one person brings the oar out of the water, the other person has to bring the oar out of the water. So slight manoeuvres like this, much more difficult than in any other boating class. That's seating.
Just on the screen now, you can see, I think it would probably be the men's B grade Coxed 8 coming down the warm-up lane. And that'd be sort of getting ready for their 2-kilometre race. Before that, we have the men's A grade Coxless 4, which is also a 2-kilometre race. So they'd probably be up at the start line now, maybe wondering what's going on, but trying to keep warm and just ready to go for their event. We're just waiting for the start line. It looks like they're getting a fairly good line, and I imagine they'll try and get underway pretty quickly now that they've got these boats lined up for the men's C-grade Coxless pair. And I believe we've now got a start, so that's great to see. And I think it's going to be a test on just keeping your cool in these kind of conditions and also keeping straight, trying not to hit too many of those buoys and staying in your lane.
Considering the conditions, we've got away to a really good start. Everyone's where they need to be, and they're moving quite well. The crew in lane 8 have certainly taken a fairly commanding lead, and we believe that is the crew from Swan River. Yes, it is confirmed. Thank you very much, Hilary. That's Christopher Drury and Ben Ferras. They're doing extremely well. The crew in lane 7 looks as if they're the second boat at this point in time between them and West Australian Rowing Club. And then, well, actually, the race for second is actually very, very close. We've got 3 boats right in a line. So while the first place at this point in time is very clearly with the Swan River crew, Second is going to be a tight finish, so we'll see. Again, still a fair bit of rowing to go. We still haven't even hit the 500 metre mark, so anything can happen. But at this point in time, definitely Swan River Rowing Club in front, and with the others trailing behind.
That's a really, really convincing lead we've got there from Swan River Rowing Club, Christopher Drury and Ben Ferraris. They have just made a bit of a steering change. They were off course there, but they've now steered back into lane 8, but they've made a really strong lead and push ahead of the other crews. And Phil just pointing out as well that, this is fairly new to see, C-grade coxless pair, rather. And it's good to see that, the pairs aren't just confined to A and B grade rowers. It's really nice to see quite a full field here of people taking on the challenge of a pair.
The other thing, with the wind at the moment, there might be a slight advantage being in lane 8. There might be a little bit of protection there. Not quite sure. The wind seems to have died down quite a bit. But it's dealing with what's in front of you is what's more important.
So they're just coming into the final 250 metres of the race for the men's C-grade coxless pair, and we have a clear winner at this point, which is only 250 metres to go. You'd suggest that they would take this out quite comfortably. In lane 8, Swan River Rowing Club, Christopher Drury and Ben Ferraris.
You saw basically a squall came through then, and one of the rowers took a crab, which is basically your oar stays in the water rather than coming out. That can be quite disastrous in a pair because your balance is dependent on what the other person is doing. They've recovered well. These two certainly are well drilled. They know what they're doing. They're moving along. They're making it look easy. And by all means, it is not easy in a pair.
And they're not taking it easy either. Despite their really convincing lead, they're making sure they push it right to the finish line there. The last few strokes, well done, and congratulations to Swan River Rowing Club.
Now we've got the next boat that will come across is the crew, the Fremantle crew, and they've originally been in lane 7, so they're actually pretty well where they need to be. So Fremantle coming across in second. Well done to you. Nicely rowed. The next boat approaching the finish line for a third place is the crew from West Australian Rowing Club. They're doing well, but they're being chased pretty heavily at the moment. They're not going to be given an easy path across from the crews from both A&A and from two A&A crews sort of on both sides trying to close down the gap. And we have, as the last A&A crew passes, well done to you, we have one other boat on the course. Whether they've had some difficulties, mechanical difficulties, we're not too sure, but they're making their way to the finish line. It looks like it's a composite crew. And they'll be happy that they've finished up at the end. So it looks like we've got Curtin University, it looks like possibly a Curtin University and Swan River Rowing Club combination.
Possibly two Curtin University with different Zooties. We'll find out, I'm sure. But yeah, well done to anyone taking on a pair today, I think, and a single. It's just, really challenging conditions. You've got to really stay confident in your training and in your crews, the people you're rowing with, to try and stay straight and stay strong through to the finish line. Coming up next we have the men's A grade Coxless 4. So this is a 2 kilometre race. They'll be up there right now, and we'll have a full field, which is great to see. From lane 3 from West Australian Rowing Club, lane 4 we have Swan River Rowing Club, lane 5 Fremantle, lane 6 UWA Boat Club, lane 7 another Fremantle crew, and in lane 8 another university crew.
Now, this is the boat category which was made famous in Australia by the Awesome Foursome back in the 80s. So it has a huge pedigree, and in Australian rowing it is regarded as a very, very prestigious class of race to be part of.
So Laurie, you row a 4 fairly regularly at A&A Rowing Club in Bayswater. What are the challenges, what are the joys of rowing a 4 in your mind?
A lot of it's about timing, so making sure everyone's moving together and basically connecting together. And also the other one is matching up the power. In the boat that I'm in, we've got 2 very, very strong rowers in the middle, and it's balancing out that power to make sure you go straight. Can always be a challenge, but very rewarding when it goes well.
Can't see it on screen yet, but it does look like we've had a start in the men's A grade Coxless 4, which is the 2 kilometre race. And I would suggest, just from eyesight from here in the finishing tower, they're probably about the 500 metre mark now. So 1/4 of the race down, 1,500 metres to go. They've done their start, they've done their high rates, and now they're probably trying to settle into as comfortable a rating as they can. And on the screen now we can see that there's 2 crews battling it out for first at the moment, trying to get that lead. I would suggest we've got Swan River Rowing Club and possibly UWA Boat Club vying for first place at this point. It's really, bow ball, nothing in it. It's really, really close.
And the nice thing about this situation, where the most competitive boat is right beside you, you don't have to look, you can feel where they are. And this will be, both these crews will be muscling it out because they can see exactly what's going on. They know what they need to do. And it's, at the moment, it's stroke for stroke. This is going to be a really, really exciting finish. They're only at the halfway point, but gee, they're not giving each other an inch.
I'd say the Swan River crew looks like they have a slightly higher rate, and it looks like that might be edging them just a little bit ahead of the UWA crew at this point. Certainly not anything major, but yeah, both those Swannies and UWA crews looking really strong, very together. But I'd say probably Swannies, about probably half a length ahead now.
One of the things that people look for is the size of the puddles. If you've got the blades going in and coming out cleanly, you'll have very small puddles. The Swan River crew is doing a brilliant job along those lines, maybe just a little bit better than the Curtin University.
I believe that's UWA there, Laurie.
Thank you, Hillary, thank you. But just look at that from the drone shots. That gives you an idea of how efficiently they're getting their blades into the water, pushing through.
I notice in the Swan River crew as well, we've got Jeremy Flavel, Torsten Bird. Now, Torsten was one of the contenders in the men's single scull. I believe he didn't race this morning, so maybe saving himself for this particular event. Who knows? That's just my that my my speculation on that one, but some really strong rowers, no doubt, in all of these crews. But it looks like Swan River Rowing Club has quite a strong lead now, probably at least a length and a half on that UWA crew, which, it looks like UWA are struggling a little bit with their steering, just going towards bow side a bit. And Swanee's having, it doesn't look like they've taken down their stroke rate very much. They're really, really working hard to stay in front and keep that lead as they go into the last 500 metres of this race.
Yes, Hilary, they're clearly a well-drilled crew. They're basically getting their blades in, very clean blade work, getting some good run on the boat, and steering very well. So the Curtin University crew is having a little bit more of a struggle with keeping off the boys. So that's always something else that basically plays on the people's minds. You've got to worry about steering. But if you've got power going on all through the boat consistently, you can keep the boat lined up nicely. That Swan River rowing crew are doing a really, really nice job.
Looks like conditions are in their favour a little bit as well, Laurie. Not as windy, I don't think, as it's been all this morning, but still doing well to stay straight and keep it strong, keep it together for the last 300-400 metres of this race.
And it looks like third place, it looks like the West Australian Rowing Club have got themselves a good position there in third place. They may be able to challenge for the second place, depending on whether they can get a little bit more of a push on for this last 400 metres. So that's sort of definitely a possibility. But at the moment, I think that may be a little too far for them.
And really strong finish here we're seeing from Swan River Rowing Club. Plenty of cheering going on for them as well. So in this crew we have Jeremy Flavel, Torsten Bird, Quinton Marketos and Fergus McNamara, making it look very easy, but they've raced a long way, 2 kilometres for the men's A-grade Coxless 4. Just crossing the line now. Congratulations to Swan River Rowing Club. And in second place, Fremantle, we have Austin Vincent, Oscar Laurie, Liam Davis and Samuel Bradell. So congratulations to Fremantle there for taking out second place. Third, I believe, UWA, and fourth, another Fremantle crew.
And that's the completion of race 20, the men's A-grade Coxless 4.
Be interesting to see if we see any of these rowers come back for the 8s, potentially at the end of the day as well.
Okay, we're about to line up for the men's race 21, the men's B grade, 8 over 2,000 metres. So in lane 3, we have the crew from University. Lane 4, Swan River. Lane 5, Curtin University. Lane 6, UWA. Lane 7, UWA. And lane 8, West Australian Rowing Club. So this is a very competitive boat category. Last week, 2 of these boats were only a couple of seconds between them. So we expect also a very close finish today.
I'm just here seeing as well in the athlete list, Laurie, from Westies, we've got Fox Douglas in the crew, and I believe he won his single scull this morning. So he's done well. Well, hopefully he had enough time to recover from that single to then jump into the 8s race. But can be hard to back it up, can't it? After giving it your all for a single scull, particularly if you won, then to try and go again for the eights.
One of the things about rowing, it is very much a stamina sport. So that, as you said, being able to back it up, do it again. It's very rare for somebody to have only 1 or 2 races during a day. Most of these people will have about 3, maybe 4 races during the day. So the legs definitely do get a working out, and obviously towards the end of the day, that's when the pressure still comes to bear, but you still need to heave on that oar and keep your the rest of your crew basically where they need to be. So they're relying on you to make the right effort.
Oh, just on screen now, we're getting some great footage of the start of the men's B grade coxed 8. So it's a 2-kilometre event, and you can see that they've got the pontoon out there, the starting pontoon. So the coxswains will be working hard to get their crews aligned as much as possible, but then also possibly putting their bow ball into the wind so they don't, start and then crash into another crew. They stay in their lane. It's a huge responsibility for those coxswains steering the boats and also keeping control of their nervous rowers at the start of the 2-kilometre race.
Now, for this race, the boats will line up on their own, but in more serious competitions, when we come to the finals, there will be people on each of those jetties or those fingers who will actually hold the bow ball and allow the stern, hold the stern, hold the stern, and make sure that everyone is released at the same time. The other challenge with an 8 is it has a very long profile, very wide. So if there is a crosswind, it will catch the whole of the shell and move it across. So it requires a bit of manoeuvring from the different rowers in the boat to basically counteract that, and it can be quite a juggling act. Yes. Yeah. Good. It's good.
Yeah. Oh, is it? still waiting on men's B grade Coxed 8. We've got a full fleet of boats up at the start line, but obviously working in these windy conditions to make sure they're straight and ready for the starter. After this, we have first and second division of the women's A and B grade coxless pair. So another pairs race, Laurie, but this time over 2 kilometres in the women's A and B division. So I'm sure we'll see some really top rowers, and I can look through the names, and I'm seeing some of those who raced already in the single scull over 2 kilometres as well. So going out again for the pairs race. But right now, we're just waiting on the start of that men's B grade Coxed 8. If you've got a bit of a break in your racing, or if you're one of the parents or a supporter and you're getting a bit peckish, you can get in ahead of lunchtime. We've got lots of bacon and egg rolls on offer. This event is being hosted by A&A Rowing Club down at Bayswater, and so we've got lots of wonderful volunteers who've come along and will be happily serving you some food. Hello Lou, off screen. She's waving at us. She's saying, come down, get something delicious to eat. Really reasonable prices as well. I love a bake sale, which is happening upstairs, and you can definitely get something, a slice or a cake or biscuit up there, as well as a coffee or tea. So, if you've got a bit of break in racing and you want to get out of the wind, you can head upstairs and grab a good spot to see some of these 2 kilometre races from and get something to eat.
I can also attest to the quality of the cakes. I've just demolished one then. Very nice. So I recommend the tea cake was very nice. I'm sure the rest of them have gone down quite well. We were given a selection and none of them are in existence anymore, so I can guarantee they were also very yummy. UWA crews are doing a sterling effort to basically keep them honest.
And as we've seen throughout this morning, Laurie, the crews are really struggling to stay in their lane, and they're getting pushed across the course into the sort of stroke side or the far side of the course. We saw Westies there, even though they're out in that quite strong lead, they actually moved into lane 7 for a little bit. Now their coxswains managed to get them back into lane 8. But yeah, obviously battling some really strong cross breeze conditions out there on the course.
The skill of the coxswain is sometimes not given enough regard. Being able to handle this, you've effectively got 8 men weighing in at around 100, 110 kilos. That's a lot of power going through the water. And then you've got someone who weighs around 55 kilos trying to steer this juggernaut down the course. They're doing a really good job. And we're seeing a little bit of a challenge in the centre of the course there. We had a bit of the crews coming close to each other from the same boat club, so I assume there might have been words, but they've sorted themselves out now. They're back there, but they're going to be hard pressed. We've got about 600 metres to go, and the Westies crew are still powering down the course and making every stroke a winner.
Yeah, it's just amazing seeing this footage from above, the bird's eye view. It's so cool to see. You can see their timing in the Westies crew is just absolutely spot on. It's coxed by Lucas Hall, who's doing a wonderful job getting his crew down that course and looking very comfortable. I'd suggest in second place at the moment we have Curtin University, but it's quite close in second place. And actually, no, it looks like maybe UWA are definitely giving them a challenge. They're in lane 1. And it'll be interesting to see who takes out second place now. Just 500 metres left, so they've done the majority of the race. They've only got a quarter to go. We can see Westies on the boys again now. So this is the crew that's out in front, but and actually in the middle of the screen and the middle of the field, you can see now we've got 2 8s in one lane. So the umpires will be doing a lot to try and fix that, but yeah, it can be really hard to stay straight in these kind of conditions.
Clearly,
Westies with a really clear lead at the moment, though.
Clearly some challenging conditions for the Swannies crew. They're just trying to get themselves lined up. Everything's been sorted out now, but at one stage I suspect the marshals were getting a little concerned, just making sure that they got people to give each other the sufficient room. We've just hit the red buoys, which means that's 250 metres to go. The West Australian Rowing Club are definitely well positioned to take this race out. And then it looks like the crew from Swannies over in lane 6. Look, they've moved a bit. So Swannies will look as if they will come in to take out the second spot with what looks like one of the uni crews to do this, to come in third, which I think will be the crew in lane 1. So yes, West Australian Rowing Club first, well done. And second, Swan River Rowing Club. And confirming that third will be University, but only by a canvas. Well done. The other uni crew did a very good job of keeping them honest. And there will be some bragging rights in the shed when they get back and put the shells back on the trailers, I'm sure, a little later. Bringing out the rear, we have the crew from Curtin University. And that will complete the rowing for event 21, the men's B grade Coxed 8 final.
Yeah, well done to all those athletes, and in particular well done to all the coxswains, I think, for some really challenging conditions out there for the 2 kilometre race. We next have, and we can actually see them down the course now, so they've had a good start. It's the first division of the women's A and B grade coxless pair. As I mentioned earlier, some of these athletes have already raced 2 kilometres in their single sculls, and they're coming back in a pair combination to race again for another 2 kilometres. For Division 1 in lane 2, UWA. In lane 4, we have Swan River. Lane 5, West Australian Rowing Club. In lane 6, another Swan River crew. in lane 7 and 8, we also have crews from University of WA. At the moment, it looks like in the lead we have one of the university crews, and I believe it's the one in lane 1 that's taking a slight lead at the moment. But it's a pretty close race at this point. We're about halfway through the 2-kilometre race.
We've just passed the 1 kilometre mark, so the halfway on the course, and it's still looking like the crew from West Australian Rowing Club, or is it Swannies? That's Swannies, sorry, it was Swan River, is in the lead. However, the crew from Uni in lane 8 are still well and truly in contention. There's only half a canvas between these two boats, so there's not much there. There's going to be a lot of pressure. And in lane 1, a university crew as well, doing a good job of keeping in touch with those front two boats. So look, at this point in time, it's quite strongly looking like the Curtin University Club. However, we still have about another 700 metres to go, so there's still a lot of racing to come.
That crew out in the lead, I believe it's Swan River actually, Laurie, and I think they won this division last time, so I imagine they'll be out there to try and win it again and prove their talents. But yeah, they are, even though they're out in the lead, they're struggling with that steering, and they actually just went into another lane. They've now managed to correct that. But the pair, as you mentioned before, is really one of those really challenging boats to keep straight. You've got to stay with your crew, think together, almost read each other's minds, and have that same power dynamic, really good timing, and also just keep that steering on.
Now, I think the Uni crew actually has taken a lead over the Swan River crew. I think the crew in lane 8 is basically now ahead of the crew by, actually, cancel that. This is too close to call. If you want an exciting finish to a race, get down to the finish, because they've got about 600 metres to go, and this is going to be a cracker. Sorry, less than that, 400 metres to go. It is an extremely close match. It's neck and neck in terms of who's going to basically take this out. At the moment, it's anybody's call. Well done.
Yeah, well done to Swan River Rowing Club. You can see them kind of striding out now a little bit, and it looks like they just look a little bit more comfortable. Their stroke rate's coming up, but they look very, very schmick coming into the Red Boys now. 250 metres to go. You can see some of the athletes looking across just to make sure there's no one else in their line of sight, but it looks like Swan River now possibly half a length ahead, but UWA are not giving up in lane 8. They're really having a crack now, trying to get ahead of that Swan River Rowing Club crew.
And I think there's a surge coming through from the Uni Club. They're doing a really good job. They're pushing it on. This is going to be really, really close. At the moment, I think they've actually taken a lead over the Swan River Rowing Club. There's nothing in this, seriously. It's a bow ball on this one, and it's going to be too close to call.
Last few strokes coming in now. It's anything between Swan River and UWA. Oh, I would suggest that it was possibly Swan River just ahead of UWA. Some really incredible rowing from all those athletes. Congratulations. 2 kilometres, it's a long way. They've done very well. We've got another crew from UWA taking out 3rd place. Just as a big wind gust comes through, we've got another crew from UWA over in the far lanes in 4th place there, and then West Australian Rowing Club just coming through the line now.
That was some quality rowing there from the Swannies and UWA crews. That was really, really impressive. Great to see. So that concludes race 22. Sorry, was that race? It does conclude race 22. Race 23. Race 23 is the B grade coxless pair, racing over 2,000 metres. We have 4 crews entered into this race. In lane 5, we have Fremantle. In lane 6, we have Curtin University. In lane 7, we have Curtin University. And then in lane 8, we have University of Western Australia. Just mentioning the athletes in this race. In Fremantle, we have Emmanuel McArdle and Olivia Kelly. From Curtin University in lane 6 with Rebecca Stewart and Rosie Bennison. In lane 7 from Curtin University we have Ophelia Go and Ella Waddy. And in lane 8, closest to the pavilion, to the left-hand side of your screen, we have University of Western Australia Boat Club. And we have Caddy Wall and Nuala Holland, who were quite successful in this race at the last meet. So it should be a crew to look out for.
Can't quite see on the screen yet, but it looks, just from looking through the finishing tower here, that they're almost halfway through their race, so just coming up to the 1,000 metres now. So this is Pennant number 4, and it's 2 weeks away from the state championships, Laurie. So it's kind of getting to the pointy end of the season where people will be really trying to, test themselves, get ahead, get as many points for their club as they can, and not get sick before the state champs, which is over 2 days in a couple of weeks' time.
You'd assume that the crews that are featuring in today's race will be the same crews that would carry forward through to those combinations through to the finals, the state masters championships. Rowing is very much about combinations, being able to row with the different bodies. People come in all forms and shapes and sizes, but it's how those 8 or those collective bodies, depending on whether it's an 8, 4 or a pair, come together, and it makes a big difference. So when a crew clicks, it makes all the world of difference.
Just on the screen now, Laurie, we're seeing the umpires waving their white flags, trying to get the 2 crews. If you're watching on the footage, you can see that there were 2 pairs coming together. They've now managed to get back into their own lanes. It looks like we probably have Fremantle out in front, followed by Curtin University.
Actually, out of screen, off to the left of screen is actually the lead boat in this race. The crew, the pair from university, are actually leading by quite a margin. I think the cameras possibly focused a little on the collision, or the potential collision where the excitement was happening. But the crew from university is well and truly ahead of the rest of the field, and that's probably why they're out of the field of vision at this point in time. As the drone moves out, sort of pans out, you should start to see the university boat come into field of view. It's just off to the left of your screen there.
Yeah, they're just about to hit the red buoys, which means last 250 metres, and I can see the other crews in second and third are just hitting the 500 metre mark. So that means they've made a clear 250 metre lead over the 2 kilometres, almost 2 kilometres that they've raced. So really, really strong crew there. We can see from UWA, Katie Wall and Nuala Holland. They're doing really well.
There they are. They've just come into view, and you can see how far they are ahead of the field. It's quite an impressive row from this pair from uni. They're doing an absolutely awesome job of powering through that wind and controlling their boat and basically getting good run on the boat and making every stroke count.
Just coming into their last few strokes now, but looking very confident, very strong in these challenging conditions. So congratulations to UWA for that very convincing lead in the women's A and B grade coxless pair. This is Division 2. So all of these crews are categorised as B. The division before was all A, so we might see some changes ahead of the next time these crews meet, I would suggest.
Yes, a couple of wins in your division will see you elevated to the next category above you. So, yes, I've got a feeling we will see that university crew as rowing as an A-grade crew very, very shortly. And so they deserve to. Air swings. The university crew is certainly finding a little bit of difficulty. There's a few air swings happening there. The conditions are not easy, and it is a pair, which is also, as I said before, the most difficult category of rowing boat to basically race. So they've done a sterling job, and when you think about it, the crew that came first will be relegated in this race in B grade. They'll be relegated up to A grade next time. So the people who came second this time have a good chance of being the winners the next time they race. And that concludes. No, not yet. We've still got another boat out there from Curtin University.
Some really strong wind gusts coming in here at the finishing tower, so I can only imagine what it's like out there on the course right now. Just in terms of planning for your day ahead, we've just heard from Rowing WA that there'll be a 30-minute delay to races after lunch. So what that means is from race 26, that is advertised at 11:04 start time. That will in fact start at 11:34. So just repeating, there'll be a 30-minute delay to races after lunch. So from race 26, that will in fact start at 11:34, and you can expect that the following races from that will also be a 30-minute delay. So just letting athletes know, and you can sort of adjust your schedule accordingly for the rest of the day in terms of getting onto the water in time for your race. There'll be a 30-minute delay to races from race 26. Right now we have the women's D grade Coxed 4 coming down the course. And this is Division 1. We've got 2 divisions in this category. And we believe we have a couple of scratchings. So at the moment, coming down the course in lane 3, we have A&A Rowing Club. In lane 4, we also have a crew from A&A. And in lane 8, Fremantle Rowing Club. And just on screen from the drone footage, we can see quite a clear lead from, I believe, Fremantle Rowing Club.
They look as if they've repositioned the lanes where these boats have started, but with the scratchings, they've obviously pushed the boats into more a central or more to the right of the screen. But however, that doesn't change anything. Fremantle is still powering ahead, and they're doing a brilliant job here in basically getting some good run on that boat, just getting those oars in and slamming those legs down. They're making it a good demonstration of slightly rough water rowing, and they're making great strides. Coming in second, looks like it's the crew from A&A, and third. There's two A&A crews basically coming through for the second and third placings.
Just from the finishing tower, I'm looking across, and you can almost see Fremantle Coxswain trying to angle their boat towards the finishing tower just to try and stay straight. You can see those gusts going across the course, and you know they are rowing really strong, but there's a fair bit of splashing going on as well, just which indicates the challenges they're facing with some of this wind. The benefit of having a Cox is really good in a fours race. We saw some of the Coxless fours before, which probably with some of the more experienced rowers, but these crews and these athletes can really just focus on their technique and on rowing as a crew and leave the steering to the coxswain.
There's still a very strong element of balance required in a four. You need to be able to tap down at the same level just to make sure the boat doesn't heel over to one side, and the Fremantle crew is doing a very good job of keeping their boat level. It looks like they might be down a little bit on one side, but then they correct it, and then they basically gives them clean oars and a good straight run through. It looks as if one of the A&A boats has ended up on the shore. There's a marshal going to have a look at that. They may have just found themselves either a mechanical or the wind has pushed them across. It looks like everything's okay. However, it's just difficult to get themselves started again.
See the A&A crew coming in second place now, possibly taking their stroke rate down to what they might normally do in a race, but just trying to finish off as a strong combination there. Last few strokes now for A&A, coming in second place there for Division 1 of the Women's D grade Coxed 4.
Now, we already have a start on the last race before lunch, when there will be at least a half-hour break, well, an hour break, I should say. This is the Women's Coxed D grade Division 2 over 1,000 metres. So we have in lane 2, Curtin University; in lane 3, Swan River Rowing Club; in lane 4, West Australian Rowing Club; Lane 5, University of West Australian Rowing Club; Lane 6, University of West Australian Rowing Club; and just for finishing things off, in Lane 7, University of West Australian Rowing Club. So Uni has got 3 crews all on the pavilion side of the course, and they're doing it quite well at this point in time. One of those crews is actually leading the field. So the crew in lane 7 is ahead. 6, my apologies, and making and ahead by quite a way. They're ahead by at least a boat length on the second and third placed rowers who are behind them. Excuse me.
So UWA out in front, rowing very strongly and looking comfortable. I'm sure they're hurting, but they're looking quite comfortable there. Just coming into the last 250 metres of the race. This is a 1,000 metre race. Now we believe Curtin University over on the far side of the course, or the right-hand side of your screen, we believe they won this division last time. Sorry, came second last time, in the last time they competed in this division. So yeah, interesting to see them a bit further back of the field.
We're seeing quite a few of the crews catching their blades on the recovery. That's obviously a sign that it's hard work out there. They might be leaning to one side a little bit. It's not an easy race at this point in time, but the wind is certainly causing a little bit of angst for some of the rowers. It's a matter of trying to keep that power on and keep moving through and go through. But so we have University of Western Australia have come first. In lane 6, and we will have, it also looks like a University of WA coming in second, and then Curtin University will be coming in third, just behind them. Fourth place will be Swan River Rowing Club, and fifth place will be the remaining University Rowing Club boat. That concludes the morning session. Please enjoy the lunch. We will be back in an hour's time. Get rugged up, take some food, take some coffee, and we will see you back in an hour.
Just slightly less than that, Laurie.
Oh.
Just to make up time, Rowing WA have made a slight change. So after lunch, so from race 26, which is the next race, there'll be a half an hour delay. So that means that the next race will start at 11:34 rather than 11:04. So just make that change to your schedule. Basically add on 30 minutes to the start time of the races from here on. And that means that they're going to just make up a bit of time over the lunch break. So the next race will be at 11:34, which is race 26, the men's C grade single scull.
Thank you for that, Hilary. Yes, I lost track of the fact that we'd sort of slipped out a little on our timings. But thank you for that. Now, Hilary, I think you're heading off now, are you?
I am. I'm going to go and do some parenting, which is always fun. But yeah, what a great morning.
Oh, it's been a pleasure having you here. This has been a really nice morning. I hope everyone else has enjoyed it as much. Hilary's made a terrific impact on the commentary team. We'll have her replaced by the very able Phil Jones very shortly.
Thanks, everyone. Have a great racing day ahead. Hope the conditions are favourable, and yeah, enjoy. Get out there.
Bye.